me on the spot all
The
the time.
king of the cruiserweights.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It
Wasn't terrible.
The king of the cruiserweight. That's
Neville, man.
Yeah. Good on you, Ellsworth.
Great.
Do you not love him? Do you not
It's
miss him at
alright.
all?
It's alright.
Do you
No, I
miss him?
don't miss him. No.
With Kane, bless his
Main event.
bless his red cotton socks, and I do. I'm having a little stretch thinking about the Velveteen Dream because he excites me that much.
Hello.
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 Do your thing. Get excited.
Hello.
Get everyone hyped. Hello, love.
And a very warm welcome back. Don't know what the hell that was. Hello and a very warm welcome back to the Gimme Holy Wrestling Podcast. My name is Dom and you are?
Ant.
And here we are today, breaking the walls down.
Breaking the walls down. We're not doing classic content today. We're doing recent
That's
content.
right, recent content. Oh my god.
What? Wrestling?
OMG. Shock, horror, totes amaze. What was the other one?
Totes of daubs, you
Totes
said.
of daubs.
Yeah.
Some more recent stuff. We got our top 10 wrestlers of 2017.
Yeah, so sort of a quick recap of 2017. Did you enjoy wrestling in 2017, Dom?
Mostly.
I thought there was some good stuff in the WWE. Much better stuff outside of the WWE, like a special mention straight away to Omega and Okada last year, who did absolutely incredible work.
Yep.
A lot of good stuff on New Japan, and a lot of good stuff with the whole Bullet Club thing.
Yeah,
like
man.
it seems
Cody
like a
Rhodes,
real
man.
threat. Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks,
very
doing
very
great.
unlikely they'll be watching us, but shouts to the Bullet Club and Young Bucks and all that good stuff.
Man. Great.
If you guys want to collaborate with us, that'd be amazing. We'll buy some of your
Ricochet
merch
as well.
Yeah,
Ricochet
who's
great.
most recently signed to WWE.
Yes.
So thanks very much for watching us throughout
Thank
this
you.
whole year. This has been our launch year. And thanks for, because it was just an idea, and Anthony's worked really hard.
It's been great, man.
On the
Enjoyed it.
editing and on pulling everything together, and we've obviously worked hard on pulling all this content together for you, doing research and stuff. We've fought illness and strife in our own personal lives to come here every week, to come to our base in Hull, City of Culture 2017.
Which is gone now, but what an epic year that was as well, City of Culture.
Also,
really good stuff.
there's some legacy stuff coming up.
Man,
next
it's all
2
good.
years,
It's all
3
good.
years. Hopefully I'll be a part of it. But
So let's talk first of all about our top 10 wrestlers of 2017. Now we had a lot of back
We're going
and
top to
forth on
bottom?
a lot of these. Yeah, absolutely. No, we're going bottom to top.
Bottom to
We're going
top.
to start at number 10.
right,
Number 10 is yours, and
well, you can't really ignore Jinder Mahal this year, can you?
number 10 is Jinder Mahal.
I mean, come on, man.
He has done a lot of amazing
Like,
stuff.
who'd have thought that? You know, of all the 3MB guys, right? You got Drew McIntyre, who's had a solid year in NXT. You know,
plagued by obviously injury at the end.
You got Heath Slater. I mean, but like I say, his physique has improved. Everything.
It has.
His in-ring ability, which was never that great, has improved.
I don't think anyone questions that he looks like a champion.
Yeah, but he's improved his ring work and he's improved his promo work because he's had to.
Yes,
he's had to. He's been thrust into limelight, and it was as a result of their WWE's expansion into India. And it'll be very interesting to see what because they're still putting him in the US title picture. I don't think they're in any rush to put him into the main event again for a while, which is a real shame because I hate WWE for kind of starting things and then pulling the plug and then just ignoring like it ever happened. But hopefully that won't happen with Jinder because it was more than anything, it was a nod to the locker room that in the right circumstances and for the right reasons, just a lucky break, as in WWE expanding to India. Anything can happen, and I have not seen anything can happen in the WWE moment
for a long time.
More than this in the last decade. So this was insane. So Jinder Mahal gets in. I
think the reason I'd hesitate, and just as sort of a reminder, well, not a reminder because we haven't told you yet. This is top 10 wrestlers in WWE, so we're avoiding anyone external, just for WWE fans.
Obviously, we mentioned Ricochet
because if not, half of these wouldn't be on the list.
We mentioned the Young Bucks, we mentioned Cody Rhodes, Ricochet, Okada. Omega, so those are our outside of WWE picks, or a few of them at least. And we're
trying to take the whole year into account. And Jinder has had that sort of massive year really for himself, and I don't think he's put on the best matches. That's why I struggled to put him in. That's why I struggled to agree in putting him on the list. But I agree that he has had an amazing 2017 himself.
He was either, it was either going to be him in the 10 or Dolph Ziggler. So I'm really glad.
It was never going to be Dolph Ziggler in 2017,
so
dude.
He had some great solid matches.
No, he didn't.
He had some terrible ones, but
yes.
Jinder Mahal definitely deserves to be in the top 10 for.
So
for me.
number 9 is a tag team. We'll give it to the Usos. Day one is
You're
what?
supposed to do that. Day one-ish.
Day one, I is.
Day one-ish.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But
I don't get it.
Day one. They've been down since day one-ish. That's the.
Oh right, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't understand it either. But
no, I really don't get it.
Anyway, since they became kind of like gangsters or whatever, they look pretty cool. They sound good, and their performance has been amped up to the aggression.
The promos have been great, man. Really good. To come out and they feel like they've completely turned it on the head. My only issue with the Usos, slightly, God, I'm being so negative, is I think that the work
unusual.
I know, right? The work outside of SmackDown hasn't been as fluid. So when there was on Talking Smack and stuff like that a lot this year, Smoking Tack, they were very like playful and stuff like that, and I don't think that really fit the character. And like you get the Miz go on there and he doesn't really play. He goes in and he is the Miz, and look at what the Miz did on Talking Smack this year, which was outstanding. And it's unfortunate that it never led to anything. The Miz, we didn't even come to the Miz. The Miz has had an amazing year.
Actually, yeah, we should add him in as a special
bonus mention
in our bonus mention.
But yeah, Usos great matches with New Day. Yeah. It felt like that New Day feud was going on too long, and then suddenly they bring out this amazing match, and it's like, okay, yeah, I want to carry on seeing it.
When they put him in the cage and stuff,
outstanding.
Just
man.
a new evolution for the two teams, because it's the kind of thing that we've seen a billion times. It's a bit like Reigns and Cena, or Cena and anyone else really. And that was the type of feud we were seeing, something that was done over and over and over again. And we've seen these repeated feuds, and they just carry on draining you. But then this was exciting. It was
new.
And I learned to respect the Usos. I'm not a fan of the Usos particularly, and I'm not honestly a fan of the New Day, really. But both teams earn my respect through these feuds. But particularly the Usos get the mention over New Day for this. New Day are always fun. They're kind of like the spokes. They're kind of good representatives of what the WWE brand is about, and they will always have solid years as long as the crowd and Vince are behind them. But the Usos certainly took a tired gimmick of the feel good, playing to the crowd, turned themselves into badass gangsters. And
dominated.
Had that aggression.
Dominated the tag team division.
Added that aggression that was a brilliant, refreshing breath of refreshing air to their
breath of refreshing air.
Breath of air. That's some refreshing.
Air. Number 8 is Johnny Wrestling.
I love him.
Gargano, man.
Jay Gizzle.
I do believe that, I don't think he's had the best year in terms of win-loss record. Certainly not.
Certainly since DIY broke up. Yeah, they played
but
on that. They played on.
Don't forget, DIY was this year, and that was the best breakup that we've seen in such a long time.
Indeed.
A few weeks later, I think it was, they had the big Cass and Enzo breakup, and in many respects, that was awful compared to the Gargano.
You can't top it. I mean, it was still great.
It was still a good breakup. It was a good breakup, but it felt really forced and fake compared to this, which felt so natural.
It was so out of the blue. Like you were watching the pay-per-view.
We was like,
whoa! Did you call it? I called it. One of us called it. One of us said it was going to happen. I think it was. I don't know, but one of us called it. I think it was actually me. But one of us called it, and when it actually happened, even though we'd said it might. And we're like this.
Because we always say stuff might, and it never happens.
Definitely was me, because I remember going on about it and on the way when they were on the way up to the ramp. I was like, they could do this. They could do this. I don't want to.
And nobody, I don't think, really saw it coming.
And like it's sad because I had my DIY T-shirt. I was so chuffed, and then I was like, God damn it! But I mean, they kind of played on the fact, and they still, they're not anymore because he's now number one contender. But right up until recently, they've been playing on the fact that he can't do, that he wasn't as good without
Ciampa.
That's why he was losing so much.
But I mean, all of
and
this.
he stands to win the NXT title. That's what will happen. That's why they've delayed it this long, because Ciampa's going to return soon. And
when Ciampa returns,
Ciampa will be his first major challenge for that title.
I don't think they need the title. But this will have already happened, like at Royal Rumble last week. In terms of we're filming this at the start of January, so we don't know what's happened at Takeover yet.
Indeed.
In terms of Ciampa coming back, when he gets in the ring with Gargano, they're gonna make some magic. Yeah,
did you see
man. The Cruiserweight Classic match was outstanding, and even that point at the end where they were both sort of exhausted and cuddled, and the guys are amazing.
Was that match this year?
No, it wasn't. No, Cruiserweight Classic was last year.
There you go.
But Gargano, I think in general, great wrestler. I don't think he's had the best year in terms of success, but he's really done some incredible work, and we like to recognise that on the channel.
Yeah.
And talking about someone who's done incredible work, who's come into the WWF this year, is number 7, who is Pete Dunne.
I'm calling it now, man. He's going to be the first British-born world heavyweight champion.
I agree. He is outstanding, man.
I am again. One of those guys, not a great fan of his gimmick and general vibe, but in terms of his in-ring performance, you cannot deny.
I think his gimmick's great,
and he's so much better. See, it's sad because people wanted to cheer for Tyler Bate as the underdog, much smaller guy, whatever. But like Pete Dunne is heads and tails above pretty much anyone on the main roster I can think
Possibly,
of.
yeah.
I mean, you put, excuse me. I'm drinking too much tea from my Gimme a whole year mug. You put Pete Dunne in the ring with AJ Styles before he retires. What a match.
Man, I mean, Pete Dunne with anyone on the main roster.
Put Pete Dunne in a match with Triple H, and Pete Dunne would make Triple H look like £1 million.
And that'd be a match that I'd love to see as well, because I see Pete Dunne as the future Triple H.
He is. We've talked about this, haven't we? The comparisons are already there.
Yeah.
And now, we're in less of... There was much in the 80s and 90s, in the eras we were covering, there was a lot more... It was a lot less likely you were to see an international champion at that time, unless there was something to, unless it was really going to sell money, like the Iron Sheik was around when, was champion when there was a lot of serious problems there's obviously always a lot of serious problems politically for the United States, but that's when you see those kind of massive drastic changes being made, but you don't often see international champions unless
we've had a couple of Irish recently and stuff like that, but it's never had a British champion.
Finn Balor, but never had a...
And this guy is going to be the champion.
Put Pete Dunne in a match with
anyone.
Roman Reigns,
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. Man,
it'd work.
It would be incredible. And there was a match actually recently between the last two, Dunne and Gargano, a few weeks back, when
which was outstanding.
Gargano went for the UK title before his now current push for the NXT title, and it blew everything out of the water. I am not a great fan, as much as I like to listen. I love the underdog. I'm not a great fan of Tyler Bate, and
I like Tyler Bate. I think he's great. I think this.
He needs to drop this. He needs to drop all this stuff.
I don't mind it. I find it quite funny. Yeah. The nice thing about this is, in terms of the year, it was the start of the year when Pete Dunne come in the UK Championship, and that's when we had that UK Championship, and that was outstanding. We saw some incredible competitors, and they really showcased what British wrestlers can do. And it wasn't just Pete Dunne. Tyler Bate did amazing. Joseph Connors was insanely good.
Yeah.
Trent Seven, it was great, and they need to really figure out a place for these guys on the roster, however that's going to be. I think the initial idea was to have something to come.
I think they're putting a lot of them on the cruise. There's plans to put more of them on the cruiserweight.
But I can't see 205 lasting. So anyway, let's move on.
It's very interesting. I've been thinking about this because there's a lot of problems for a company to bring that many international people over. A lot of visa expenses, all these things which do play into companies' decisions to bring people over. So you got guys like, I think it's secure now that Pete Dunne's on the roster, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, but I think they're the top three that are
Mark Andrews and Wolfgang have been.
You see that? Yeah. So I mean, there's more. They're kind of lock-ins again, but again, they're not competing all the time, and that's probably because there's a lot of a lot of red tape for a company to go through to get a UK.
Well, not just that.
performer.
The one of the biggest problems, and I talked to you briefly about this yesterday, was WWE have so much talent right now, and they don't have.
Space.
They have the space. They're just not using it right. You know, they've got a 3-hour Raw that's just boring at times.
SmackDown is like I mean, SmackDown should, and I believed when Wyatt was world champion back in I believed that SmackDown was going to overtake Raw. Shut up. SmackDown was going to overtake Raw as like the A show, but then they put, because Vince is obviously, they've got so much focus. I think honestly, you know, I'm really. It's not going to be great when Triple H takes over, but it's going to be more diverse. There's going to be more diversity when Triple H finally takes over the reins. Because Vince is so focused on Raw that's why it's 3 hours. That's why all the major talent is on Raw. Who have you got in the main event of SmackDown at the minute? You got Zayn, you got Owens, you got Nakamura, you got Corbin, Styles. But you know what I mean? Very top heavy on Raw.
The nice thing about SmackDown as well is the tag division has been outstanding. You know, Rusev's just taken a massive turn. That's been excellent.
Yeah, he's going to be a good solid face this year. Shelton Benjamin's return. Anything Shelton Benjamin does. Benjamin and Gable, future tag team champions. I think they're going to take the Usos titles coming up. I mean, obviously this is way before the actual pay-per-view, and this will probably air afterwards. So we'll see. But Benjamin and Gable are an incredible team. Obviously, I'd love to see Breezango with the belts. But anyway, so back to what we were saying.
The list, we go on a WWE.
The list of gay.
I think it's
the gay list.
It's hard for us because we do a lot of classic content for you guys, but actually we love modern wrestling as well. When we get a chance to
go,
blow off about it,
it's quite
go.
I think the classic content is necessary, but it gives us the enthusiasm to do this. But yeah, going back to it, Pete Dunne, could add, he could be, within the next 6 months, he could be a main event star on it. He could have a similar the Lesnar effect.
Get him against Triple H at WrestleMania.
Where he comes on in 6 months, he's a world champion. It could happen. Yeah. That's the thing.
Speaking of a future world champion, I don't know if this guy actually needs a championship belt or not, and he's put on some incredible matches. And this guy is Aleister Black.
Yeah.
What an entrance song.
Yeah, former Tommy End in the independent circuit in Europe. He's Code Orange is his entrance theme. They're an incredible band. We've interviewed them on Soundsphere, by the way, if anybody's a fan of Code Orange.
I interviewed Pete Dunne last year.
You interviewed Pete Dunne. Yeah, absolutely, cool. for Soundsphere magazine. Basically, massive fan. We're obviously big fans of alternative culture, and I think that anybody that comes in with a kind of darker gimmick and, looking the way he does, I think,
it always piques our interest.
Particularly we as rock music fans and metal fans, we're always going to be interested in that. And we're in an age now, like I say, where you could see guys like Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream at the top of the company. I mean, that kind of started when CM Punk was there, because of Triple H. And his uncanny ability, I hate to blow his trumpet, because there's enough people blowing his trumpet, but he has an uncanny ability to see diversity and to see where money is, even if he doesn't agree with, even if it's not the kind of archetypal WWE guy. So CM Punk, even though he had so many problems with CM Punk, he was able to put him at the top because he knew where the money was, and he knew that CM Punk represented a very much working class for the people type of vibe. Now, Aleister Black, I think Triple H is a huge fan of, because he represents a diverse, different vibe. Aleister Black is so Tommy End is a Satanist, for example. Now, that's nothing to do with his gimmick in the WWE, and I'm sure the WWE certainly don't draw attention to that. But certainly, Aleister Black, being given the opportunities he's given, will open up a lot of people to the wrestling world that wouldn't have looked at it before. People into music, people into fashion, culture, art, alternative culture and art, and in a way that nobody has done, perhaps, since CM Punk. People are calling him already, which he hates, by the way, because, I follow the guy on Twitter. He gets compared to CM Punk quite a lot, and again, I believe he will have the similar effect, and he could be a Dutch born world champion in the next 5 years. But say, like a Mick Foley, even though he did end up winning a title,
I don't think he needs
a Bray Wyatt, even. I mean, sadly, because obviously I'm a massive, just like I'm a massive Dolph Ziggler fan, I'm a massive Bray Wyatt fan, and it remains to be seen if the Woken thing can reignite Bray. But Black and Balor, to be fair, have been everything that Wyatt should have been.
Yes, they're the new guys.
And Black is definitely what they're kind of looking at Black, I think, as like they could do something with this.
Yeah.
That Wyatt couldn't do. They've done it right with they've not had him talk a lot. He's not talking a lot. He's just
but then
a guy.
That's the thing with his match against Velveteen Dream. When he does talk, it really makes an impact.
Hugely.
And the thing that I love about Black is his in-ring style. So the way that he sort of meditates in the ring and stuff, and he'll do these moves where he goes back to this meditation, and it's a real interesting stance, I think, and a real interesting storytelling device. You know, that looks great, and I think there's great things in the future for Aleister Black. I don't think he needs a title. I think he just needs to fight.
I honestly think he would be a very good leader of a heel faction in the coming years. You know, something like that. I think he would, like a Ministry of Darkness type thing could happen.
Maybe. But
I mean, I like him as the anti-hero. He's very much the anti-hero
at the minute. Yes.
At the minute, and I like that. So he's definitely on the list for us both.
Next up at number 5 is
Asuka.
Asuka's gotta kill you. That was creepy, wasn't it?
She'd kill me, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, Asuka's had a great year, same as last year. I don't know if her matches have been as good
still
as
undefeated.
Still undefeated. It's gone on for a long time now. She sort of beat Goldberg's streak. When she moved to main roster, I don't know if they've done as good a job with her, but she's continued to dominate.
Yeah.
That's good to see.
I like what they've done with her and Paige.
Yes.
It was the right way to reintroduce Paige to the WWE Universe to put her with Asuka.
It was,
And that's
I'm
really
hoping
well
that it'll be Asuka that comes on top of that as well and goes through it, and it should be. I think that whoever beats Asuka now is going to get this incredible rub. I'd love to see Ember Moon come back, because I thought their matches, and one of their earlier matches this year, the storytelling in that, where Asuka was afraid to that. She got that desperate to stop Ember Moon from doing the Eclipse on her, that she ended up pushing a ref into the rope to get. Excellent storytelling, and that's what I love about wrestling.
If she hits, I think she did actually hit the Eclipse on Asuka eventually, and she
did in
out.
the second match.
But it's nice to see that Asuka is again kind of an anti-hero character that could be a face, could be a heel, and could excel at it as well.
Yes.
Again, she would be an incredible. Give her a few more years, a little bit more time to kind of acclimatise to the US style of. Sports entertainment, wrestling, and obviously language. I think she'll be a great world champion. And excellent. She'll have some excellent matches with Ronda.
I hope so.
Ronda Rousey and Asuka could be incredible.
That'd be great. Next up on the list at number 4, we have Kevin Owens.
Yeah, man. Consistently.
Good year, man.
Consistently putting everything on the line. Had some incredible moments with Y2J, who I think would be an honourable
the start
mention.
of the year with Chris Jericho,
the Festival of Friendship.
The Festival of Friendship will be iconic.
Yeah, everything he's doing with Zayn now is great. He's managed to elevate Zayn, just like Jericho. I don't know. You know what? I think Owens helped elevate Jericho
to an extent. Yes, I agree.
Jericho for a 2017 audience,
I agree.
Which was fantastic. He did some wonderful work with the world title with Reigns at the very beginning of the Royal Rumble when they had a match at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Wonderful work there. An incredibly agile big man. I think Owens and I think Triple H, this is what I'm saying, this is why I do admire Triple H over Vince McMahon, is because Triple H knows what works and for a modern audience, and Vince McMahon could still do that, but he refused. He's very stuck in his ways. I mean, it's just part of the older generation, I guess.
One of the really interesting insights into Kevin Owens has come out on the network as well, which was the 365 series that debuted this year.
Yeah.
And it's 365 days in the life of Kevin Owens, and it sort of goes through his WrestleMania period with Chris Jericho, when Vince wasn't happy, and it's a really No, I don't think it was a good match. I agree with Vince, actually.
It didn't deserve the cold response that Vince gave him.
No, but it's a really interesting insight into the company and an insight into somebody. Kevin Owens is a damn hard worker, man.
Oh, yeah.
And he's constantly striving to improve. And I think there's the future for him in the WWF will continue to be strong. You know,
Oh no, I think
that's really
he'll be
exciting.
a record breaker. He'll be a record breaker. He is the guy, like I said before, like Triple H recognises it doesn't matter about his size, doesn't matter about his look.
No.
He's just good. And
He's good.
We're in an age now. In the last 5 years, it's where anybody, whether you're Jinder Mahal or Kevin Owens, can have a go, and that is nice to see. You can be any build and have a shot.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the way before. I mean, you know, and it wasn't, you know, it's not been the way for a long time. You know, Vince had his archetypal guys, and even Triple H was that archetypal guy for a while.
Yeah.
You know, he still is the big, muscly dude. And Kevin Owens
he's got
everything.
strength.
He's got everything, man.
He has, yeah. He's got strength, agility, and that's great. And when we talk about, in our Wrestling Rewind series, we talk about people like Fatu coming in and that sort of nimbleness for a
Rikishi,
big guy who later become
and all that.
Rikishi.
Obviously, very different in terms of size, but still similar types.
Yeah.
Similar.
I wouldn't say Rikishi and Kevin Owens were that far off.
Rikishi's a lot bigger, but...
Yeah, okay.
But no, I see what you mean.
In Fatu days. Anyway,
I think Owens is the most versatile performer on this list. To be honest.
number 3, who has had an amazing year.
Please
and
do it in the accent.
what?
Do it in the accent.
I don't think I can.
Did try.
Oh man, you put me on the spot.
You put me on the spot all
The
the time.
king of the cruiserweights.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great.
One terrible.
The king of the cruiserweight. That's
Neville, man.
Yeah.
Neville.
Yeah, man.
Although obviously he's been out of WWF
That's
for the past sort of.
That's another candidate.
3 months.
He's if they bring him back and give in to his demands, but if they bring him back, he could be a world champion. He could do it.
Neville has done outstanding work, and Neville was always sort of one of them guys that was just there. I think we saw him in a live show last year, and he was all right. He was fun. It was good. When who the hell knew that he had this incredible heel character in him?
He looks like a gremlin, you know what I mean?
He
He's
does,
like,
man.
Like he was born. Once he grew that beard, like he was born to be a heel. Like, you know what I mean? You couldn't do anything. And his physique, man. His physique
great.
I mean, remember what he was like before? I mean, he was built before, but that, I mean, like you look at Jinder Mahal, like Neville's next level. He's the Neville level.
Neville was the only real reason, I think, for most of 2017 to watch 205 Live and be interested in the cruiserweight.
You know, and they've brought other guys in, like Kalisto's not have the same effect. They're about to bring in Rockstar Spud from TNA. He won't have the same effect at all. Enzo was supposed to be there, the new face of it, and it just didn't. It just, you know, I understand why, because he's a merch seller, but Neville just solid throughout this year, and an incredible performer that hopefully when he gets his contract renewed, or he's still a part of the company, he will excel and be given a main event roster push, which I think is what he wants and why he walked out.
Yes, I think so, and hopefully that'll happen. Number 2 is Braun, who has had a phenomenal year.
Yeah,
he's gone from being a lackey in the Wyatts, who I don't think wasn't that great in the ring, to a guy who has really worked to sell his character, to develop his character, but also work on his stuff in the ring. And he's awesome now. It's
really easy to work on a monster gimmick because all you have to do is go raw and look intimidating. But you know what? Again, for a big man, very good, you know, like he's not
dynamic.
agile, but he's good, but he's a good mover. You're right. I think a lot of people have said a lot of harsh things to him backstage, you know, trying to help him out and saying, you know, you could be doing this better. You could be. I think he's taken on board any criticism that may have been leveled to him by fans on social media and also people backstage, and he's gone with it. You know, there's two ways you could take that level of criticism. He has a lot of criticism over the years.
Well, you know, I'm not a massive fan of Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman's feud has elevated Roman Reigns like big time.
Yeah.
It's been outstanding, you know. And there's other big men like Joe and stuff like that, but they've never felt as much of a threat. Even when he was fighting Brock Lesnar, because we got the Brock versus Braun, which everyone was so excited to see, and that moment in SummerSlam where Braun took out Brock Lesnar for such a long time in the match. He's gone from strength to strength, and as long as he stays fit and healthy, it will
absolutely.
continue to go
massive.
from strength to
It'll be
strength.
massive, and like I say, he's about to, at the time of filming, he's got a triple threat with the Royal Rumble with Kane, bless his
Main event,
bless his red cotton socks, and and
big
and
red cotton socks.
and Lesnar, and I think it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Won't probably not be for a while because WWE are forever high on Roman Reigns, and I think Roman Reigns will have a shot at Mania with Lesnar. But there is I would put millions of pounds on Lesnar being champion, on Strowman being a world champion.
Oh, it would.
Maybe
not.
maybe twice this year. Maybe a couple of title
I think
reigns.
he's going to get it because he's done such good work. Probably
year.
in 2018, and it'll probably be Reigns that he beats for it.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Strowman is not only is he a big guy, but he feels like a legitimate threat. And it's what we've talked about with wrestlers like Razor Ramon when he first come into the company. He feels like a legitimate threat. And it's not just his size, it's his ability.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I mean, one thing I want to happen for Strowman, which may have already happened by the time you guys see this, fingers crossed, is I think he needs to beat Lesnar. Like you know how they're going to do Reigns and Lesnar at Mania. That's pretty much a lock-in. So in the Royal Rumble, it looks like he's not going to come out on top, right? But if one thing that has to happen, whether it's a non-title feud or a title feud, is that Strowman has to be the guy to put Lesnar down. I think.
The issue that I think they've got with that is that Lesnar will be out of contract soon before you can have that, I think. And I think that'll be the problem. It'll be time keeping Lesnar in contract.
There's no denying that Strowman will beat Reigns.
Yes,
but there's something validating.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That,
also don't forget, if Strowman beats Lesnar, it makes Reigns look slightly worse, so they won't do it. But Strowman again can just continue dominating. We've gone from a guy who was in a feud with Kalisto in a garbage truck match to main event every pay-per-view.
Incredibly, let's just say Kalisto, US champion.
Good on him. It's a mid card, and he's now top of the pay-per-view every single time. TLC, the story of that match was, to me, less about Shield, more about Braun Strowman turning on everyone and becoming a face, which I thought was a really good match.
Yeah, that moment where Strowman looks at Triple H and he's like, "What are you doing?"
Oh, in the Survivor Series, that was a
brilliant.
match.
That was his face turn moment.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, and that Survivor match was an awful match, but it did one thing, and it made Braun look amazing.
Yeah.
And everyone else in that match looked bad for that match, apart from Braun Strowman, and that's outstanding when you're talking about people like Kurt Angle, Triple H, Shinsuke, it's John Cena.
Yeah.
All of them looked awful compared to Strowman. So now we go on to number one, but a couple of honourable mentions before we go on to number one. Oh, one question about Strowman. Who was better, Strowman or Zeus?
Strowman.
Oh, he's finally given and said Strowman.
Because I believe Strowman is better than Zeus. I don't believe anybody else is better than Zeus.
Good.
But yeah, no, I mean, like I say, before we go on to number one, honourable mentions, but also, there's been a couple of people that we were talking about haven't had great years considering what they could have achieved. So you've got, reluctantly, you've got Bray Wyatt.
Has had an awful year.
You've got a Shinsuke Nakamura who could have come on and done better. Baron Corbin again, even despite US title win.
And the Money in the Bank win.
Dolph Ziggler. He's had a terrible year.
Who's Dolph Ziggler?
Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, that guy. I forget because he doesn't have a gimmick. Man.
He's we talked about this last night,
Yeah, I know. And I said, I don't want to mention Ziggler or Wyatt in a best of 2017 at all.
You could put Ziggler and certain high-profile religious figures in the same sentence, perhaps.
My word.
He's that good.
Oh, my word.
He's that good.
Other mentions to Alexa Bliss, who has had an outstanding year.
For positive, yeah. So our negatives, you got your Corbin, your Wyatt, your Ziggler, your Nakamura, who could have done a lot better.
Bobby Roode hasn't made much of an impression on the main roster.
But yeah, in terms of positives,
Bliss,
Breezango.
We were massive fans of Breezango.
And his brief run. I mean, Jericho. It feels like everything he touches at the moment.
Yeah,
everything he touches at the moment turns to gold.
The reason we hadn't included Jericho in the list is because he was sort of out by May. But that Festival of Friendship will continue to be an iconic moment.
Quality, show for him.
Number one.
I'd like to sort of real time do this in an ideal world, because I'm pretty sure most of our audience could probably figure out who we're going to pick as number one. He's going to retire in the next 3 years or 5 years. He said he's not got that long left in him. According to him, I'm sure he could go a lot longer, but I think he knows, just like Shawn Michaels knows when it's time to hang it up. And that is a guy called AJ Styles, who is an incredible. He is phenomenal. He is the greatest all-rounder currently in the WWE. I mean, there's arguments for Gable and Benjamin and those guys, those types of people that are just really great all-rounder. Kevin Owens, but yeah. It was Samoa Joe, who surprisingly we haven't mentioned. He didn't have a terrible year.
I don't think it was as good as the others.
Great year. But yeah, AJ Styles, man, absolutely incredible, and he will, in his short time, because it will be relatively short compared to other legends. I think he'll be a Hall of Fame by the time he leaves, whether it's 3 years or 5. He'll still be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
I think he's done outstanding work outside of the WWE, and he's come in and he's continued to work at a solid level. I saw him at a house show in Sheffield, and I couldn't believe how much he was putting his body through, to be honest with you. Taking bumps off the apron and stuff like that. And he goes at it 110% all the time. I don't know if this year I think the start of his year was a lot better, especially the stuff with John Cena that he was doing. I don't know if it's been as good as last year, but that doesn't make it any less good. When you get AJ Styles in a match, like I'm not a fan of Brock Lesnar's matches. AJ Styles gave Brock Lesnar the best match that he's had in years. I'm not a fan of... Who else did he have a feud with this year?
He's had a feud with Reigns.
I mean, Jinder Mahal. I think the matches were made so much better by AJ working with him. Always. And I think Jinder's improved by AJ, and that's what you see. The Finn Balor AJ, although I don't know if it lived up to its full potential, it was exciting.
They didn't have that much time to plan it, did they? But it was well done. It was well done for sure.
And that's why Styles number one on our list. Like, at the minute, I can't see a wrestler touching that. I think there's potential. Next year we could be doing the same list and Styles could be number one, but I think there are potential people that could take over.
I mean, like I say, I believe there's every chance that for the next 3 years and for the rest of his career, if it goes shorter or beyond that, he will be one of the top, if not the top.
Absolutely. So next up, we're going to go through our top 10 matches of the year, and we'll run through these a little bit quicker. But before we do that, we just wanted to make a little bit of an announcement on the channel. So Dom is going away to America for 4 months. Now, we don't have all the content filmed. If you imagine doing a Wrestling Rewind video, it takes us hours to do, doesn't it? You've got to watch the pay-per-view, research the pay-per-view. It's easily 8 to 10 hours. Like, it's a full day's work, and because of our work in real life, we haven't been able to meet up to get content every week for you all. So content will drop a little bit, but we'll still be active on Facebook. We'll still try and figure out something for predictions and stuff like that as we go on. But we just thought we'd make you aware of that, and let the Gimme a Hulia community know about that.
We can always do live videos, and I think we're always going to try and do something where either I'm talking representing us or you're talking representing us, and we'll do some stuff for you as long as there's the demand for it, as long as you guys want it, as long as you guys keep interacting, keep liking stuff, keep following us. We appreciate that.
But then in late April you'll come back, and then we're going to really push the channel. I'm actually coming back
for the first time in a very, very long time. I'll be returning to the city to stay for a little while.
So we can be closer.
To be Hull, so we'll be closer. Little bromance.
Oh, me shoulder.
He's got a bad shoulder, bless him.
Cool. So just thought we'd let you know about that. The channel's not stopping. We're just a little bit of time where we're just going to be apart. We couldn't get as much done, and we still want the quality to be sort of there. And it was hard to keep that quality while doing repeated.
But I think the important thing is like. I think last honourable mention. James Ellsworth.
Jesus Christ, man.
James Ellsworth.
Jesus Christ.
Well, he's not there anymore. He's not in the WWE anymore. But like I said,
was a bit fun.
every man with two hands has a fighting chance, and we'll never give up. We'll always do stuff because we love it. Just like James Ellsworth, did wrestling or does wrestling because he loved it
for a bit.
I think he's still going. I think.
Let's move on to top 10 matches.
Can I just give a shout out to James?
You've done it. You've done it.
Good on you, Ellsworth.
I'm just shutting you up.
Good on you, Ellsworth.
Great.
Do you not love him? Do you not miss him at all?
It was all right. No, I don't miss him, no. So, top 10 matches of this year. This was quite a lot of discussion about it, back and forth from a lot of them. So, some of them are more yours, some of them are more mine.
Yeah.
First up, War Games match is number 10 at War Games TakeOver. So we had the Undisputed Era, Sanity and Authors of Pain all fighting in the brought back WCW War Games.
Yeah, which was terrible the first time round, and it was actually all right this time.
It was the talent they had in that ring.
You had quite an odd. You had who else? So it was the Authors of Pain, but
Undisputed Era with Roderick Strong.
Roderick Strong, in bloody Authors of Pain gear. Which was weird.
But the match was really good, and the spots.
The Undisputed Era. Now everything that it seems. O'Reilly, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish. They were an incredible tag team. They had Ring of Honor. And then they came in, as singles wrestlers, and then formed this kind of group
stable.
This lovely stable that's there now. Adam Cole, man. I mean, it just
Adam
goes.
Cole, man. You mean Adam Cole, baby?
Adam Cole, baby. If Adam Cole can come to the WWE, I think anything can, like I say, anything can happen. And this team, Undisputed Era, are very good. I believe Adam Cole, baby, is starting to feud with Aleister Black actually soon. But it's a good team, good solid team. Sanity had their best showing of the year. I mean, some of those bumps, man. Some of those bumps
Alexander
that they
Wolf
took,
split his head open. I think the star of the match for me was Killian Dane, and it really made a star out of him.
He's a great
future.
Yeah, he'd be a great candidate. He'd be a great candidate for a Scottish born world champion.
Absolutely, and I think he'll go against Strowman, and it'll be awesome in the future.
Yeah,
and I think it really made a star out of him.
It'd be interesting to see them if they come together at the Royal Rumble at all.
Yes,
he was in the Royal Rumble last year, Killian Dane.
No, he wasn't.
He was. He popped in.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't. He was in the Battle Royale at WrestleMania. He wasn't in the Royal Rumble.
Really?
Facts wrong on the podcast. Just telling facts wrong. Just throwing facts out in the. Did you know that Alexa Bliss once beat Braun Strowman in a real life street fight? That's right. I'm just pulling bullshit out of the air, just like you're doing.
I'm sure he was in the Rumble, man. I'm pretty sure he was in the Rumble. No, he won't. Let me check that. I'm going to check that.
Okay, you can check that in a bit.
I'm going to check that. I might be wrong, but I'm going to check it.
Let us know in the comments below how wrong Dom is.
I'm going to fight to...
Next match.
For my right to...
Party.
Bullshit.
Number 9 was a SmackDown match. And it was Nakamura versus John Cena. I can't believe they give this match away for free. And it was really good. It was really exciting. Cena really impressed me in the feud matches this year.
He was there to put Nakamura over, and he did a great job.
He did a wonderful job.
I think he's finally realised that it's his time to put people over now instead of hog the limelight.
And even though there was a bit of a botch in the match where Nakamura did a suplex to Cena and he landed on the back of his neck, you could see that Cena, because you see at the end of the match, Nakamura apologising to him and Cena going over and going, "Look, it's okay. I'm okay." I'm okay.
I think Vince was I think
Vince was upset, and that might be the reason that we haven't seen much of Shinsuke so far.
But I think like I said,
this match was outstanding. It was a great match.
That'll change, and he'll learn. And like I say, Nakamura got the win, and that's good. And on the previous one, Undisputed Era won, didn't they? The Undisputed Era
yes,
one.
Did,
yeah, of course, just because I didn't.
Sorry, we didn't say.
I think we put the result on that one.
Elimination Chamber number 8. The reason that we've put this on the list, it was a good match in general. We had a new chamber this year with the square boxes. I thought the chamber looked great. Some great talent in there: Cena, Styles, Miz, Corbin, Wyatt, and Ambrose. And Wyatt won. Like, we sort of
was
saw it
massive,
coming in terms of the storyline with Randy Orton, and we didn't realise how terrible that WrestleMania match would be. But at this point, it felt like, actually, Wyatt...
They'd finally done it.
given him the chance.
And then, like, what was it, a month later? Not even
House
that.
of Horrors.
yeah, but when he lost the title, because he...
Yeah, it was
did he win the title? He kept the title at House of Horrors, and then lost it at Mania.
No. House of Horrors was after WrestleMania.
Okay, there you go.
So, yeah,
I must be off my game today. But yeah.
That's all right. So, yeah, that's... It was a good match. It was an interesting new chamber. I'm not as keen on the padded outside as opposed to the steel outside, but... it was good, and you had Styles in there and Cena,
and Styles. It was Styles that took the pin to validate Wyatt as a main event star, and that was really well done.
Instead of it being just The Miz.
Yeah.
Next up, we have number 7, which was Asuka versus Ember Moon at Brooklyn 3, which was an outstanding match. Again, really validating Asuka. Ember Moon looked $1,000,000. I love the Eclipse. I can't wait for her to be in main roster. She's one of my favourite women in NXT.
Yeah, she's incredible.
And she has been since she started.
She'll be in the Royal Rumble, I think.
I don't know if they're going to put the champion in the Royal Rumble. That's the only thing that would make me hesitant about saying that. But you guys will know, because it probably happened last week. But yeah, outstanding match, and these two had a couple of really good matches, and I love the section with the whole Asuka throwing the ref into the rope to get Ember off, which I talked about earlier. Next up, we have Cena versus AJ Styles at the Rumble. This was John Cena's 16th title win.
Yeah.
Equalising the record of Ric Flair.
Yeah, and I think
felt like a big moment.
He's got one more in him, unfortunately. I think they'll
of course he has, but that's
somehow
okay.
They're going to do it. But yeah,
That's
I mean, it's actually interesting, isn't it? There's 2 John Cena matches in our best of 2017.
I think this year I gained a lot of respect for John Cena.
I think he's finally decided that he wants to let other people have the.
I always thought, give me a Cena heel turn, give me a Cena heel turn, and now actually I realise how important he is to, like, you've watched stuff with like people with cancer and stuff like that, and going through really, really dark times, and the motto of never give up, always stand by what you believe, is actually.
Yeah, no, I understand why he's.
It's more important than wrestling.
I understand. I understand why he's in the position he's in.
Yeah,
I do understand.
So, but this match was excellent. There was a lot of false finishes. 2 incredible performers. Cena picking up the win was fine. I actually thought they were going to save it until WrestleMania, but they didn't. And it was an outstanding match. 2 guys working really well. In at number 5, we have a SummerSlam Fatal 4-Way, which was Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and Braun Strowman. It was an excellent match. It was so exciting. The whole segment where Brock Lesnar got taken out by Braun Strowman earlier on, and you had 4 guys who are really good workers. You know me, I didn't even want to see Reigns anywhere near this list, but Reigns has had an excellent year.
Yes.
I think Reigns is starting to really turn things
Did
around.
we just not put him in the list because we didn't like him? Like, do you reckon he should have been in the top 10?
Reigns? No, he shouldn't have been in the top 10.
You know, we got Cesaro and Sheamus as well that we forgot about, so there's a lot of people in that list.
Yeah, we can get rid of Jinder for one of them. Anyway, so the SummerSlam Fatal 4-Way, it was really good, it was really exciting, and when Brock was taken out, we sort of knew that it was coming back, but it made it feel like it could be one of these guys. And Brock did a good job in the match as well, even though he just sort of came in and did a couple of F5s. And it set up some really good feuds in the future to have with Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman. Yeah. And even though I don't know if they worked as well in pay-per-view, it was a good establishing match.
Absolutely, for them all,
Next match, at number 4, we have the Authors of Pain, DIY, and The Revival, who all fought at TakeOver Orlando. Why is this match on the list, Dom?
Well, there's a particularly nasty turn at the end.
There is, man, which none of us saw coming. The
nastiest turn in the last 5 to 10 years. It was that surprising.
It's one of the best breakups I've done for a long time.
Yeah, the DIY breakup. I mean, an incredible match, really emotional, very similar to, I got really into it. I got really emotionally invested in it. because very similar to how I was talking to you about the way the Bret Hart Bob Backlund match got me. Like that, I haven't been got by a match and wanting a team to win and seeing the emotion in their faces when they're doing moves and
Dom
they're trying
had
to win.
half a tear in his eye.
I was a bit, it was nearly a full tear, but it was that kind of emotion of wanting DIY to do it and win, but then the Authors of Pain just so dominant, and then going up that ramp and just thinking, they're always going to be friends. They're bros. It's amazing. Like me and Anthony, we're always going to love each other, and you just
I'm gonna
thought
super kick your head off one of these days, and you're not going to see it coming. Carry on.
I'm too quick for you.
Yeah.
I'll pull a Marty Jannetty and actually no, that's quite bleak. I don't want to pull a
Are you
Marty
comparing
Jannetty.
yourself to Marty Jannetty?
Probably.
I'd think you're better off comparing yourself to Ellsworth.
What?
Or Dolph Ziggler's career.
I'd rather take that. So I mean, like they go over the ramp and you think they're going to be together forever. They're going to have a cuddle. You're sitting there with your DIY shirt on, feeling good. Do it yourself. You feel positive, and then all of a sudden, Ciampa takes Gargano,
boom,
smashes him into the screen, and that's it. And that's it. And you could there was a hush. Everyone was like, "What?"
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that guy that did the Undertaker streak, but the eyes thing would have been like,
Kamala just went.
Kamala was just freaking out. So for that more than anything, what an incredible turn. Like I say, it served to launch the Authors of Pain as legitimate badasses, and also the Revival kind of used it as a springboard to the main roster.
Get into the main roster.
So it was a good match for all.
The Revival
three.
have been doing Revival and DIY certainly had done incredible work, but this was a great match by all. I thought there was a lot of spots in it.
Yeah.
But it was a great match to be had by all, and to end it with that heel turn was just outstanding.
Incredible work.
We couldn't really understand why the championship match, because I believe this was the same night that it was Shinsuke and Bobby Roode, was on before this match or something like that, or it might have been their rematch.
Yeah, and we understand why now. Yeah.
And of course you understand why now, because that ending. But we thought it was all over. We were ready to go to bed, and then we were just excited for. And it's such a shame that he's injured. When he comes back, that is going to be one hell of a feud in 2018.
Gargano's going to be NXT World Champion soon. So.
Yes. Cool. Next up, number 3, we have the Usos and the New Day at Hell in a Cell.
Wow, man.
This was like it started off the pay-per-view. When I saw it was announced on that, I was like, man, we've seen the New Day and Usos so much. Like, even this new feud that they were having, we'd seen a lot. What can they do? Can we just end it now and can we just move on to something else? Can we give Breezango a push that I wanted to see? Yeah. These guys, man,
they nailed it. They completely changed everything I'd thought about them for a long time.
They kept the character work. Like, the New Day was still playing around a little bit with the sort of hitting people with trumpets and stuff, and then it got really dark with handcuffs and the whole segment where they tied one of the Usos up into the cell with the kendo sticks, which was like 50 Shades of 50 Shades of Uso.
50 Shades of Uso.
It was a really outstanding match. And the rest of the pay-per-view fell flat, I think, after that, including the Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon match, because these guys blew it out of the water, and the whole bit with them hanging on the thing, it was exciting, you know.
It was incredible. Like I say, I've not seen those two teams more relevant to my interests, certainly, and my tastes in terms of a wrestling fan for a long time. And obviously I think everybody else, they serve to put everyone else on notice for the rest of the card. You can imagine they went backstage and everyone,
everyone had been patting them on the back. It was a similar match to like the Martin Jannetty, the Rockers versus the Orient Express. That was an outstanding match. It sort of comes out of nowhere, and this was that match for me. It really came out of nowhere. And number 2, we sort of went a bit back and forth on number 2 and 1, but
this was my first and second.
I And that's only because I wrote it down. So number 2 is Aleister Black versus the Velveteen Dream. Do you want to talk a little bit about this?
I do. I'm having a little stretch thinking about the Velveteen Dream because he excites me that much. He's cool, man. He's cool. I love it.
He is, man. Rick Rude pants.
A little bit of Prince, a little bit of Ravishing Rick Rude.
Yeah,
it's all good. You know, that elbow drop, best elbow drop in the WWE right now. It's incredible. It was a bit of a dream for me because I always wanted to see, dream no pun intended, I always wanted to see a guy like Goldust get put on a match. I mean, he had some great matches when he was starting out. This was the Velveteen Dream represents the kind of gold, I think he'll be a main event star. And we're talking about Triple H's approach to diversity. You can see, I mean, he could potentially get ruined on the main roster. That's a thing. He could potentially get ruined like Dolph Ziggler on the main roster. But I think that Velveteen Dream's character, as diverse and promiscuous as it is, will have more chances and more support than Goldust did in an era that wasn't quite ready for what Goldust was peddling.
Yes.
And what Velveteen Dream will do when he returns, because we haven't seen him at this time. At the time of filming, we've not seen him since this match because he's dealing with some injuries. But absolutely incredible showing. He came again, no pun intended, into the world. He came all over the world, all over the WWE universe, and just completely nailed this match. And even though he came up on the losing end, I actually believe he came out looking better than Black. Although you can't really, like I say, Black just looks solid.
I think
still undefeated.
The two had an incredible match with a lot of back and forth, but not just like great wrestling and great kicks and stuff like that, which Black has, but also great taunts and stuff like that. Like the moment where, and it wasn't caught very well on camera, but the moment where Aleister Black leans into Velveteen Dream and sort of, because Velveteen Dream is mocking Black by doing his crosslegs thing, and the sort of reversal of that character, really.
He slithers on the ground just like Aleister, just like Velveteen Dream, and it's a match. It's a match. I might go back and watch tonight. It's the one match I've kind of gone back to as through the year. Or through last year rather, because it's two of the brilliant dynamics. You got Aleister Black, who's kind of the more dynamic and more interesting version of, say, a Bray Wyatt, and you got a Goldust-esque, Velveteen Dream, and that's how it should be done. That's how that kind of dynamic should be done, and it's very rare that WWE gets that kind of two weird gimmicks, two alternative kind of out there gimmicks, puts them together and does it right. I mean, we're questioning at the moment, for example, where the Woken, Hardy and Wyatt gimmick is thing is going to go. It's very difficult to get something like that right, and they did it right.
They did it absolutely right, and it's in three simple words, like enjoy, infamy, Velveteen Dream. That's four words. Yeah, but that was so. But that's what it was
powerful. Built on. It was. How do you build a feud on getting someone to say your name? I mean, that's insane. Yeah, it's insane.
And they both did amazing.
Yeah, like that was the.
It's not getting someone to say your name. It's about getting someone to recognise you, and that's the point. It's deeper than just saying the name, but that's why it meant so much.
It was brilliant, and that was my pick for number one.
Both guys won at this match.
You don't see that very often, where a guy can come out on the losing end and look potentially stronger than the winner.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
They both looked incredible.
Brilliant work, and Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream, fingers crossed. Touch wood, I do an excellent year, 2018.
Yes, I think they will have. So number one is the Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne match from TakeOver Chicago. There's not as many matches from WWE. There seems to be more matches that are actually NXT here, but that's just the way it falls. NXT has some great wrestling, and they seem to let them go a little bit more regularly. This match, if you go back and rewatch it, it is absolutely outstanding. Pete Dunne does such incredible work, and so does Tyler Bate, and they are back and forth, and it's near fall after near fall. I remember watching it at the time, and I showed my brother, who doesn't watch wrestling as much, and he was like, wow, that was really, how the hell did they do that? It was so good, and they kept the energy with each other, man.
It was amazing.
It was great, and it really was a good moment for Pete Dunne to take that championship and run with it, and he has done ever since. And it's a shame that they haven't got much for the championship, but seriously, go back and watch that match and watch the talent that is in the ring, because Pete Dunne is phenomenal, and Tyler Bate is really, really phenomenal as well. He's really good.
Incredible.
You got what to say about the match? It was. I remember we watched it and we was like, wow, that is British wrestling. Like
I say, that there is no better showcase for British wrestling or British wrestlers, because obviously you have to graft when you're wrestling in the UK. I mean, you have to graft anywhere, but most of these guys have fought. Most of these guys now have fought most of the up and coming independent UK talent that's currently out there, and there
is some incredible.
It was incredible to see as well. I mean, you look at I know, for example, Pete Dunne has fought. Has fought Alistair Black or Tommy End as he was.
Tommy End, yeah.
You'll have guys like Daniel Bryan have fought. There's some of these guys on the independent circuit years and years ago. These are guys who've been going. Pete Dunne as young as he is, and Tyler Bate, who was only 17 or 18 at the time, he's been going for a while. He's been
so
doing
much
it.
potential.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, as much as I say about Tyler Bate not being my favourite, you could see him in a world title potentially. I'm not entirely sure.
I think you're saying he's not your favourite because he's up against Pete Dunne, but that doesn't make him a bad wrestler. He's compared to half the main roster.
I'd be very interested
better.
if you look at, say, how Triple H's physique has changed over the years.
Yes.
He was skinny, and I mean, be very interested to see how Tyler Bate progresses.
It will
he's
be.
Only,
will be.
I think it's easy to forget how young he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
By the time he's 30, 29, 28, 20, he could be. I mean, he could look completely different.
I think the WWF should keep hold of these guys, and same with like Finn Balor, who's completely wasted this year, and really develop him and really like. They can make either a British division, which I wouldn't be averse to, or so we get weekly British programming. It'd be fine. Or give them more time on the main roster, because these guys are not just filler. These are not mid card.
No.
These are top level superstars who deserve the time and storyline.
Absolutely.
So, well done to Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, and everyone
else
that's been mentioned on the list, because it's been outstanding. It's been a great year, Dom.
Indeed.
Well done. We started a podcast.
Now do the fist.
What fist? Oh yeah, I'll fist you. Thanks very much for joining us. Like I say, content will be a little bit more sporadic until Dom gets back in April, and then we're really going to hit it running. Please leave a like, comment. If you need to stay updated on when episodes are coming out, please go to Facebook, Twitter, and you can view our Patreon as well, where you can get
support
awesome
us.
mugs.
We get some mugs, get some t-shirts. Equally, if you don't want to buy our stuff, that's absolutely fine.
But just interact with us, and that's great.
Interact with us. Tell us we're shit. Tell us we're good. Tell us we make you happy. We've had some wonderful stories from people saying really wonderful stuff about the podcast and how it's accompanied them on a journey, or it's helped them get through some stuff just by helping them pass the time.
Yeah,
so we really appreciate that. So thank you so much for your support. I've been Dom. That's Anthony. We'll see you again soon. Keep it gay.